So let's do a few more things before we finish up. I've generated a 3D view of the kitchen and the sink basins you can see down below. There's no covering here. This is going to be a cantilevered countertop. We probably have a brace over here. But let's go ahead and put a little covering over that. And while we're here, I also, your lights may not be showing up. If they're not, you may need to offset them from the host. They're being buried in the wall, and I'd like to have them protruding a little bit. They weren't showing light when they were actually embedded completely in. So I put that at 4¼ inches. That was, that might have been just a placement issue I had specifically. So let's go ahead and look how I'm going to get at creating a section so I can extrude out a board in front of there. I'm going to go ahead and delete the section I've already created, and I'll redo it. And we'll go to plan view. And I'll just zoom in here. So I want to put a board along this face. And I could do it a couple of ways, but I'm just going to extrude out a narrow board. So I'm going to put a section and I'm going to cut a view so that I have a place to do some work. And it's kind of really just a temporary section. And you'd probably want to go back and delete it later on. But that gives us a chance to cut through and see our sink basin here. And we want to put a little board in front of that. So let's go to architecture and component, and we're going to model in place. It'll be a piece of casework, and we're going to draw that as an extrusion, and we're going to need to pick a plane, and we need a plane that will be in the same. So I just have to find something around here that will allow us to have that parallel plane, and I'm really not finding anything here. Let's see if I can do this again and see if we can have no. So let me do something else. I'm going to go back to the to this level, and I know if I extend this out probably to select here. I'll pull this out until I can at least catch something that has a plane in it that I can use, a parallel plane. And we'll go back to that section now and see if I can do an extrusion now. So now I have a lot more showing here. So let's go ahead back to architecture, component, model in place, casework, and we're going to do an extrusion, and we're going to pick a plane. And there we have a plane that's now a flat surface like we want to do. And I can come up here and we'll use the rectangle tool. And we're just going to draw a little surface. So that's a 3/4 inch thick board. And we'll drag it down until it's about 9 inches. And we'll click off on that so that it'll go ahead and extrude it. We'll finish that model. And then we'll go back to our 3D view. And you can see it sitting here. And we'll just pull it out. It should indicate when it touches the wall, and I probably won't get a good indication over here. That looks good enough. Okay, so we have a little bit of extra cabinetry there. Now the other thing I wanted to do was add in a light, or excuse me, a vent fan in the bathroom. So we can actually do that. Let's go to the electrical view. And we'll put it on the ceiling so we can see where we're going to put it. And we're going to go to architecture, component, and you're going to need to insert this. I've already got it in, an exhaust fan. I'll have that provided on the site. I grabbed that off of the BIM. I can drag that window on for you here in a second. I grabbed that off of the BIM components. I'll show it to you here. There you go. That's the fan I'm using. And that's a little bit small, but that's not really for commercial use. You'd probably want your vendor to recommend something else. Oh, I left a whole bunch of other slides up here. Last year's environmental control slides. Okay, so we have that fan in now. And we're going to go ahead and place it. So I'm going to look for a surface to place it in. And I just happen to drop it in anywhere. And once again, it's facing in the wrong direction. So I'll flip it over. And then actually we can move it in the plan view. And I'm just gonna grab this. Oh, why can't I grab it here? We're in the electrical plan view. Just need to take this. Oh, we're in something else here. Let me just click out of this one a minute, and let's go back to level 2 electrical. I don't know why that wouldn't allow us to work with it. And then I'm just going to slide it over here until it's close to where our vent stack is coming up, so we could kind of put those two together. Alright, so we have our vent in place now. That probably would need to be wired to a switch also, and I hate to make that user operable, so that might be, I don't know, connected to the lighting and automatically go on. Something to discuss with the electrician or your MEP specialist. So here we have, now we're getting pretty well set to go ahead and start doing a drawing, a presentation drawing. So I've already started one. We'll go to L5 electrical. So now I have the a little isometric view, and I've dragged on the electrical plan view. And I think we'd want to add a couple of maybe a 3D view. So I'm going to grab this 3D view just to put it on the screen of the interior of the kitchen. And what we'll do is we'll probably go ahead and render that up a little better, and then I might pick one other view to include, and I'll pick that up in the final. I'll go ahead and ray trace render this one, and then I'll pick that up in the next video clip, final presentation.